The Peacemaker Season 2 trailer has officially dropped, and it is packed with so much action, comedy, and hidden details that all connect to the greater DCU. Today, we're going to dive into the trailer. We're going to go scene by scene and go over all of the hidden details, secrets, teasers, and references that you may have missed. We have 2 Peacemakers now. What does that mean? Well, we're going to talk about it in this video, guys. We have a lot to cover, so check the video chapters for easy viewing, and let's get started. So jumping straight into the trailer, we have Peacemaker and Leota sitting in a car reflecting about their past, with Leota telling Peacemaker that they're going to do backflips to get you to join. Cut to the next scene, we have Peacemaker walking in for a job interview like thing with 3 notable characters. The first one being Maxwell Lord, played by Gunn, and sitting next to Maxwell Lord, we have Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner, with Maxwell Lord seemingly doing the job interview alongside the 2 other characters, saying this, and I quote, "Welcome Peacemaker, or do you prefer Chris? Can you tell us a little bit about your skills?" Now, if you take a look at all of the other characters, the only one that's not wearing the, I guess, corporate Justice League costume is Maxwell Lord, hinting that this is Maxwell Lord's squad, like he is the one running the show, and that's why he's the main one conducting the interview, but he has Guy Gardner there and Hawkgirl that are assisting and helping him. Even though this interview is not serious at all, it almost seems like they don't want to be interviewing Peacemaker, but it seems that they have no other choice. Perhaps Superman in the movie doesn't want to join the corporate Justice League, so he's like, no, I'm good, I don't want to join that. So they're interviewing Peacemaker to kind of build up their Justice League squad for marketing or just business reasons. Maxwell Lord is definitely a businessman, so he's likely utilizing the superheroes in a similar fashion that Vought does with the superheroes in the Boys show. Perhaps this is James Gunn like making fun of like Marvel and even DC with like utilizing superheroes to maximize profits. Now, there have been previous leaks that suggest that the Maxwell Lord corporate Justice League will be known as the Justice Gang, drawing inspiration from the Justice League International, just a group of like heroes you wouldn't expect to be together in a group. So yeah, with Peacemaker applying to join the Justice Gang, he wants to be a part of the squad for some reason. Now the trio actually forget to mute the mic and they start talking crap about him, and then he abruptly leaves, raging out that they were wasting his time and just kind of making fun of him. We then cut to a shot with Peacemaker back in the vehicle with Leota, and they're driving away, and she says, "I don't get it, you save the world," which that is of course a callback to season 1, where, you know, Peacemaker and the rest of the 11th Street kids saved the world from the alien invasion, the butterfly invasion. But as evident in the teaser trailer, they didn't get credit for saving the world. So yeah, it seems like the whole 11th Street kids are kind of down in the dumps, which that kind of goes back to one of the reasons why Peacemaker probably is interviewing for the new Justice League squad, because he needs money, and he doesn't work for Argus anymore, mainly because of the new head of Argus, which we'll talk about in just a minute. We then cut to Adrian Chase, aka Vigilante, having a phone conversation with John, where he said, "I thought everyone would treat us like heroes." Once again, you know, a callback to season 1 where they didn't get credit for saving the world, with Leota then saying, "I don't need anyone, I'll just forge my own path." Now, if you look at Leota's shirt, she works for a fast food restaurant called Extra Spicy, with her wife that she's talking to working at a coffee shop called Jitters, which is a callback to The Flash. The next scene, we have Leota and John on a bed, and he's like, "You're living in the worst episode of Grand Theft Auto." And then we have Harcourt doing her same shenanigans. She was officially diagnosed with toxic masculinity, which is pretty funny, honestly. Cut to the next scene of her like going rage mode again at her vehicle. Perhaps it doesn't work, showing that she's also just as down bad as the other members of the squad. Moving right along, we cut to John speaking, and he is saying that Rick Flag Sr. has been monitoring Peacemaker ever since he was made the director of Argus. We then cut to a small snippet of Peacemaker saying, "Does he know that I," and then Leota said, "killed his son?" To which she said yes. So immediately that tells me that this season will be about Rick Flag Sr. potentially either hunting down or trying to apprehend Peacemaker. He said the next scene, "Bring me Peacemaker." We have this shot where a whole squad of tactical agents that are wearing the Argus jackets are storming most likely Peacemaker's house. We see another scene of Peacemaker running with eagerly out of the house, being chased down by the squad of Argus operatives. So yeah, you can actually see that there's multiple times where there's Argus operatives that are like trying to go into a house or some other building, and that tells me that Peacemaker and the rest of the squad are currently on the run. At least Peacemaker is. Like, I'm sure that the other squad probably doesn't need to run from this, because they're not the ones who killed Rick Flag Jr. It was Peacemaker. Perhaps they're gonna try to, you know, take out the 11th Street kids for being associated, perhaps harboring Peacemaker, which makes them complicit in the whole act. Now, I think another alternative of why they are hunting down Peacemaker and perhaps the rest of the squad, now that Rick Flag Sr. is the director of Argus, he now controls Task Force X as well as the Creature Commandos. So maybe the reason he's hunting down Peacemaker is to try to like force him to rejoin Task Force X. But he's like, no, I don't want to join Task Force X. I'd rather join this new Justice League squad, or rather the Justice Gang. And he's like, no, I don't want anything to do with Argus or Task Force X. I've been there, done that. I would rather join this new squad with Maxwell Lord and, you know, Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl. That way Peacemaker gets the recognition that he deserves. At the end of the day, he wants to be more of a superhero, which Adrian Chase has that similar sentiment when he said, I thought they would treat us like heroes after they save the world. And then we cut to the next scene of the trailer, which the audio on this is like really edited. Like if you listen to the audio at this point, it's pretty edited. So that tells me that there's a bit of misdirection that's happening. But Peacemaker says, we are the 11th Street kids. No one is going to break us apart. The trailer then cuts to a montage with multiple scenes. We have a cabin in the woods, it looks like, with a big explosion. We get to see Adrian Chase, aka Vigilante, with Rick Flag Sr. seemingly in that same cabin in the woods. And the reason he's angry is most likely like he thought that Peacemaker would be there, but he wasn't. So he, you know, knocked some stuff down. And then we cut to what is most likely one of the villains in this season, and that is Michael Rooker, and he is most likely playing the supervillain known as Snowflame, or that's currently what the rumors are, which honestly, I think if it is Snowflame, that's so funny, because the way that Snowflame gets his superpowers is by ingesting cocaine, which Snowflame has superhuman strength, speed, immunity to pain, pyrokinesis, and the ability to give his targets an instant contact high, which is such a Peacemaker thing to do. Like, this is so James Gunn. This has to be Snowflame. Honestly, if it's not, I will be severely disappointed. But like, if you just look at this screenshot right here of the trailer, like, this has got to be Snowflame. There's no other way that it's not. I've seen some people suggest that this is going to be Apache Chief, but you know, it's hard saying. Now this brings us to one of my favorite parts of the trailer, and that is Peacemaker and the rest of the squad are in a pocket dimension, or rather his dad's pocket dimension that was in his closet, which we got to see this pocket dimension in season 1. This area holds all of Peacemaker's various tools and weapons and helmets. Peacemaker has the entire squad of the 11th Street kids going into the pocket dimension as well, which has serious like implications for the overarching story for season 2. We then cut to a scene of Peacemaker in his undies, and he's opening up a door. The trailer then cuts, and then we have Peacemaker again, and he's wearing a different shirt. It looks like he changed his clothes. We then see a gun that gets cocked back, and it reveals yet another Peacemaker. So there's 2 Peacemakers in the show now, and you're probably wondering what is going on here, and I think it's pretty simple. When I saw this, I immediately thought, okay, we have his dad's pocket dimension. He opened up a door and he's going into a different dimension, which, you know, if you guys remember, James Gunn did say that Peacemaker season 2 planned on addressing the continuity issues and just, you know, addressing the DCEU allegations and whatnot. And what I think is happening is we have Peacemaker from the DCEU, or season 1 of the show. He goes into the pocket dimension and he gets confronted by the new DCU Peacemaker, and now Peacemaker is most likely going to have to, you know, decide to kill the DCU Peacemaker so that he can be the DCU's new Peacemaker. Now, another thing that we have to consider is that you have the rest of the 11th Street kids that are also inside the pocket dimension, and it looks like they're running away or being chased by some entity. It could be that they're being chased by Argus from the DCEU, but then that kind of raises the question on whether or not Rick Flag Sr. is the same from both dimensions. Perhaps he goes into the DCEU dimension to take out Peacemaker for killing his kid, but it's hard saying. We're currently in like this really weird area where the multiverse is already kind of real, but it seems like this season of Peacemaker is trying to fix all the continuity issues, bring over the people that they want to bring over, and leave the rest in the past, or at the very least in the DCU side of things, so that Peacemaker and the rest of the squad can be a part of the new DCU. And I also think that he's going to go to the DCU side of things pretty early on in the show. Like, he's being hunted by Rick Flag Sr., and that's why he opens up his dad's closet and he enters the pocket dimension and is able to escape with the rest of the 11th Street kids. Now, it's going to be really hard to determine how they plan on addressing everything. There's so many continuity things that this raises, especially if the pocket dimension is used throughout the entire season. It almost seems like Peacemaker is the DCU's Deadpool, and he's like going through and like closing up everything that he needs to and bringing over the people from the DCEU that he's bringing to the DCU, similar to how Deadpool did things with the Deadpool and Wolverine movie with the Fox characters. Yeah, this trailer was absolutely packed with content, from a bunch of Easter eggs and teasers. There was a Cranks Toys Easter Easter egg, which is the location of the Justice League interview, which is a reference to Bane's hideout in Batman Arkham City. But yeah, the trailer for season 2 of Peacemaker looked absolutely amazing. I can't wait for it to come out. June, July, and August are about to be peak fiction. We have so much stuff coming out. We have Superman that releases on July 11th, 2025, and then a month later, on August 21st, we get Peacemaker season 2. So yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the trailer. Are you excited for season 2 of Peacemaker? I'm so excited for it. Like, the implications that this will have on the rest of the DCU is going to be pretty exciting, so I can't wait to see what happens. If you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel with your notifications turned on so you're not missing out on any future content. I'll be covering Peacemaker season 2 as well as the Superman movie and, you know, the DCU, the MCU, the Harry Potter series reboot, and so much more. That's going to wrap it up, and until next time, this has been Wes, and I will talk to you guys on the other side of the world.